Hello and a very good morning to everyone. So now just going to take the time to do a preview ahead of the ECB rate decision. Now that's due at 12:45 London, and then the press conference held by the President Draghi 45 minutes later at 1:30 London time. So this has been well anticipated by the market. Markets have been pricing in a significant move by the ECB to calm the Eurozone debt crisis, and there are several options on the table for the ECB. So firstly, the most widely expected would be the purchase of government bonds, and that's just to decrease the elevated yields we've seen in recent times, especially in the periphery. So several options. There could be a reactivation of the ECB security market programme, so that's their operation under which they conduct buys of sovereign bonds. This has been dormant since the middle of March, but this is an option. Seems to be the most likely. Other option would be to use the temporary bailout fund, the EFSF, to buy sovereign bonds. However, small caveat in that sovereign nations would have to request aid from the temporary bailout fund in order for them to conduct bond buys. Now, considering both Spain and Italy are against this at this time, Spain just wanting a bailout by the banking sector as opposed to their country as a whole, and Italy refusing a bailout altogether at this time. This seems unlikely to happen right now. It could be an option for the future, whereas the ECB could step in as of next week. Now, another option could be another LTRO. However, we are yet to see the effects filter through to the real economy of the previous LTRO, so this seems slightly unlikely, but it would give peripheral banks and banks in the Eurozone as a whole cheap cash in order to increase their lending. Now, another option would be a rate cut. So the main reference rate was cut at the last meeting by 25 basis points, and it took the deposit rate to 0. So any cut of the main reference rate without narrowing the corridor would take this deposit rate into negative territory. So another option could be to narrow the corridor, keeping the deposit rate at 0, but cutting the main rate by 25 basis points. Again, this seems very unlikely. So if they did do this, we could see aggressive moves, lots of volatility in the Euribor strip, but not expected by the markets. So expectations are for bond buys. Again, we're yet to see how they'll do this and under what circumstance and for how long as well. But as this has been priced in, less likely to see such volatility, but we could see some optimism. If ECB do nothing at all, we will see disappointment in the market. It has been priced in, so it's likely we'll see riskier assets sell off across the board. And if the ECB actually don't do anything significant, if they do introduce measures but it's not big enough to combat the crisis, again we could see disappointment. Now, again, that's due at 12:45 for the rate decision press conference, 45 minutes later at 1:30. We've also got the Bank of England rate decision and asset purchase facility targets slightly earlier at midday London time. Expectations for this are for unchanged. For the time being, though, that's enough from me. We'll have a video for you a bit later on just to recap the overnight news and this morning's trade. But in the meantime, have yourself a great afternoon and also enjoy the ECB press conference.